you're not sure if your ads are profitable, if your ads are working, or if your ads are driving value to your business, I'm gonna go through a really simple exercise in a spreadsheet that you can download yourself, and we're gonna go through the exercise together, and we're gonna put those calculations together so you know if your business is profitable or not. Okay, super cool, guys. What's going on, gang? It's your boy Jerry coming back at you with a brand new video. And today we're gonna be looking at everything super important to do with making sure your ads are profitable, that you're driving business growth, and that everything that you're doing is affecting the business bottom line, right? So if you're not sure, the big things that we're gonna be looking at: return on ad spend, aka ROAS, return on investment, aka ROI. We're gonna be looking at AOV, aka average order values, and we're going to be looking at the marketing efficiency ratio, aka MER. Okay, so super interesting, super important, guys, for you to understand this and get it right so that you know that the ads that you're running for your business are profitable, what you might need to do to break even, and all those nice things. So stick around, guys, we're going to get into it today. Okay, guys, grab your coffees and grab your hats. It's time to spin out some ad magic. Okay, guys, so to set this up, it's going to be very simple. We're going to create a spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you exactly, line by line, what needs to go in there. Okay, so there are certain things that we need to look at first. If you're talking to a client or if you're looking at your own business, there are a number of questions that you need answering before you can go and add these calculations in. Okay, so I'm just going to go through those first, and then I'm going to create the spreadsheet, right? So you know exactly how all the components work together, how the calculations are made, and how the profitability is calculated to the exact point, okay? So, guys, we've got a spreadsheet here. It's brand fresh new. So the first thing you can add in is your sales info. Okay, guys, so I've just set the spreadsheet up. I'm going to put some simple fields in here first that we need to learn, that we need to know, okay? So the first 5 fields are some of the key areas that we need to know first before embarking on this amazing journey to create our fantastic spreadsheet of profitability. These look like the following. We've got the cost of product, okay? Looking at this, there's 2 ways of doing it. You either look at the cost of one product, you take the average cost of many products if they're in a similar category or if they're in a group, or third, if the business has already been running, you can use the average order value here to calculate what people are paying on average when they go through the checkout, okay? So I'm going to put cost of product here. We're going to use an example of a $9.99 product, okay? Very simple within this example, but you can change this to the average order value as well, okay? This will automatically calculate. So the cost of product is the first thing that we need to know. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we have the profit margins. What is the percentage profit margins of each product sale? If we're selling something for $9.99 and it's a 50% profit margin, then yeah, it's around, you know, £5. So we have to understand the profit margin of each product. Okay, next, here we have the customer lifetime value. This requires some understanding of whether or not a customer has gone through the journey before. You can create calculations to understand what is on average the amount spent in one customer lifetime value. So if a customer comes through and they stay with your business, on average, how much would they spend across the whole time that they're there? Okay, this is very important with ads. It's about how much that customer, it's about the initial acquisition to gain that customer, and then looking at the profit that that customer actually brings in across their whole lifetime. Okay, so super important, guys. Then we're going to be looking at some other areas of sales information, okay? Looking at specifically what are some other places of income, right? Within this example, I put website, okay? There's other income if you've got partnerships, etc. I'm also going to put that in here as well, into its own category. So I've just put other sources in for now, okay? So we've got the daily average income here. The reason that we're doing daily, I'll go into, but the idea is that we break down the ad spend and we break down all the results on a daily basis. We type in how many days we're actually looking at, and this automatically calculates during that period what the results are, okay? So it's important to get the average daily figures, because that allows us to do the other calculations around the spreadsheet. Okay, so super cool, guys. I'm going to actually make this spreadsheet available to you so you can download it. There's a link down below in the description. If you want to download this and just add in the numbers, I'm going to highlight the fields that you need to add, but everything else should be automatically calculated, okay? And I'm going to create the spreadsheet for you now. So the next piece of information that we need, guys, this is the first self-calculating field, is the profit per product, okay? Super cool. I'm going to go and create that in a second. And the very final field that we need here, the total income that we were looking at for this calculation. Okay, so this, I'm going to leave that blank for now, but I'm going to use other points of, other data points in order to fill this in. Okay, so super cool, guys. Stick with me. Okay, so now I'm just going to go and add in some simple metrics into these sections here. Okay, I'm going to color them yellow. so that you know these are the ones that you need to fill in, okay? These are the ones that you're going to fill in. So I'm going to just go in and put some example figures here, just so I can put the rest of the spreadsheet together, and then I'm going to put the calculations in and link all the cells up so they all calculate automatically. The next, so I'm going to put that as, I've added that as a 999. The next is the profit margin, so I'm going to put around 50% for this. This could be anything, you know, whatever the business is looking at for the for each product. For the customer lifetime value, in this example, I'm going to put £55. So, you know, they come in and they spend £9.99, but over the course of their lifetime, on average, they might spend £55 for the business. Okay, so that's the number that we actually need to look at. Put some example figures for website. £4 a day income. For other sources, I've put £20 a day for the income. Okay, this could be anything. This could be whatever you're looking at, guys. Now, to calculate the profit per product, what I'm going to do is just add in a calculation here to use the previous above numbers to automatically create this calculation. So within this, it takes B5, which is the $9.99. And then we're looking at we're flip reversing it. So rather than looking at the percentage, we're telling the cell that this is the value of it based on this percentage. Okay, so this is what the cell formula looks like. It means that around £5, 50% of 9.99 is 5. Okay, now we're going to leave the final cell blank for now, because that's actually going to be used later on. So we're going to leave that blank. So we're going to scroll down. I'm going to format this spreadsheet a little bit so it looks a bit more easy to understand. So I'm going to shrink this up. So now we have our first fields. We're going to go to the second part of the spreadsheet. Very cool, guys. So when you're looking at acquisition, guys, there's also certain things that we need to look at here. Now, we use our own data or our own projections to add in these initial acquisition results. So the first thing that we need to look at is the ad spend, okay? How much A do we want to spend, or how much have we spent? The second part that we're going to look at is across how many days are you doing this analysis, okay? Is it across a 14-day period? Is it across a 30-day period? Is it across a 3-month period? Is it across a 6-month period? However many days you're looking at, add this in here. Then you're going to add in the number of acquisitions you've gained. So this is however many acquisitions that you've already gained in your ads, or how many acquisitions you want to gain in your projections. Okay, so we're going to have to add those in as well. Then the cost per acquisition is actually self-calculated within this spreadsheet depending on the other results. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to just go through those and add some of those figures in now. So again, I've just highlighted the ones there that you need to fill in. The last one is going to be self-calculating. For the cost of this example, £450 on our ads, or we want to spend £450 on our ads. That's our budget. We want to be looking at a 30-day period, so for the last 30 days. The number of acquisitions that we need to hit, or that we want to hit, or that we have hit, can be added in here. So for £450 spend, across that last 30 days, we had 45 sales, 45 leads, 45 whatever it is that your target is, whatever the acquisition looks like for you. And then the final field is just the cost that you've spent divided by the number of acquisitions that you had. That's an automatically self-calculating field, and that'll give you the cost per acquisition. So how much you spent per sale, per lead, per cost of acquisition. Okay, so this an example is 10. Okay, cool. So that's the next section of this spreadsheet, guys. Now we've looked at the sales information, we've looked at the acquisition information, and now we're going to go to the next section of the spreadsheet. This section, guys, we need to be looking at the overheads, okay? Like, what is the business spending on? And we need to take all of those expenses and all of the business income into consideration in order to make this calculation, okay? So there's one field that we need answering here, and that is the monthly overhead costs, okay? You will know what you're spending on your business. You need to bring all those calculations together to bring one figure of what it costs you on a monthly basis to run your business. Okay, we're going to add that in here. And the rest are going to be automatically calculated cells, right? So that's the only one that we need to input here. But the other information points that we need are daily overhead costs, which get calculated depending on the monthly, the daily overheads per sale, which can get calculated automatically, and the overheads for this calculation specifically, right? So this is specifically looking at across how many days are we looking at. You need to add in the days here, and then it will calculate the overheads depending on how many days you're looking at. So it will calculate the overheads if you're looking at 14 days, it will calculate the overheads of the business for those 14 days, etc. So really, really important to get this in here, guys. I'm just going to put in some example figures so you know what this could look like. So I've labeled the first cell because that's the first one. That's actually the one that we need to add input in manually from the business side. The rest are automatically calculated. So I'm going to go in and add some specific examples here for each of the figures so we can see how it all works together. Okay, so for example, within this business example, it's going to cost the whole business £2,500 to run the business for a month. Okay, so the field underneath is an automatically calculating field that's taking the monthly cost and dividing it by 30 so that we know the daily spend. Okay, so we're going to add that in there. It's 83.33. And then we're going to look at the daily overhead per sale. And what is the monthly overhead cost and how many acquisitions have we had? And what is the cost of overheads per sale? How many days are we looking at? What is the average and what is the daily expenditure? Okay, so we need to type times the daily overhead costs by the number of days that we're looking at, and this is an automatically calculated cell as well. So because the business is spending 2,500 a month across 30 days, this cell contains 2,500. But guys, before we go anywhere else, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you're new here so you don't miss any more important updates. We are here many times a week to bring online advertisers, entrepreneurs, and digital marketeers the best from their online, paid media, and digital marketing strategies. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. So guys, the next part of this is we just need one more data point in this next section. The rest is going to be automatically calculated based on the inputs that we've put in previously. So for this, there are a number of things that we need to look at, right? The first thing that we need to look at is profit per customer. Okay, very, very important because this will tell us how much profit we're gaining per customer based on those profit margins, based on those sales data previously. So that's the first information point. The next is the profit and loss during that period. The next is how many customers, if in the minus, we would need to break even. Okay, these numbers are kind of important to look at if the company is in the red or if the company is losing money every month. If we're to get back to that point, how many customers do we need to break even and how many customers do we need to make a profit? Then the ad spend to break even. So if we wanted the company needed to break even, how much we'd need to spend in order to get to that point. How much profit would you like, guys? You can add this information in because again, this is a projections and profitability calculation spreadsheet, right? So we can add in here how much profit you'd like. So I'd like to make £1,000 profit. Well, then we know that we need to spend a certain amount on ads to get those customers. To get a certain amount of profit, we need to spend a certain amount to get a certain amount of customers, right? So then we'd add in what the total sales and customers needed to break even and the total ad spend needed. Okay guys, so I'm going to go and add in all these self-calculating fields now. So the profit per customer looks at the customer lifetime value, the total value that the customer is bringing into the company, minus the cost that it takes to acquire that customer. Okay, so within this example, the customer brings in £55 total into the business, and it's cost us £10 to acquire that customer. Okay, which gives us a profit per customer of £45. So for this next section, we actually need to go back to the first table. There was one cell here that we didn't add in, and because we had to add in the additional info first, the calculation looks at this, right? What's the average daily income outside of ads for the business? And then we're timesing that about how many days we're looking at within this calculation. Now we've got to look at the next sections. So this calculation is very, very simple. It just takes out what is the average income. So within this example, we've got all the income from website and other sources, and then we've got the daily overhead costs, right? So we've got income and other sources, we've got income of £720, but the daily overheads, 2,500, okay? So we've got a deficit here of 1,780. Very interesting. Which means now we can do a backwards calculation that during that period we made X% loss. So if we were to break even, right, looking at the profit per customer, we'd need to gain 40 acquisitions, 40 customers, 40 sales to break even. To get that company out of that 1,780 deficit, we'd need to make 40 customers. Okay, super interesting, guys, super, super interesting. I'd say that these fields aren't as relevant. For example, if we change the income slightly and the company is actually in a positive, that these numbers change slightly, okay? This means that we're actually now looking at it, if the company's in a plus, that we're actually 14 customers up, okay? We're 14 customers over our break-even point. So not super important to look at this. If the company is in a plus, it's just an interesting data point to say, hey, the company is this plus this many customers at the moment. It's more important if your company is in a deficit, okay? So we're going to go back to our original example. The next bit is looking at ad spend to break even, okay, guys? So it's saying, okay, well, if we need 40 customers, how much does it cost to acquire those 40 customers? And what do we need? How much do we need to spend to get to those 40 customers? So within this example, we'd need to spend £395 to acquire customers at £10 acquisition in order to break even, to get those 40 customers and to break even, okay? So these are automatically self-calculating fields, guys. This next section is depending on what you want to achieve, what you want to do. Say, for example, you want to achieve a certain amount of profit. This is where you add that in. In this example, the business wants to see £1,000 profit. So based on all of these calculations, how much would we need to spend in order to get that, okay? The next field is also a self-calculating field that's taking the profit that you'd like to achieve and dividing it by the profit per customer, okay? So this tells us how many customers customers we'd actually need to make the profit that you would like to see. And then the final self-calculating field is actually how much ad spend you would need. Okay, that's looking at the cost per acquisition times by the total sales and customers needed in order to make your profit. Okay, this is different to the break-even point, which is the additional section. This is looking at profitability, so projection profit, and the other bit is looking to break even. Okay, the next section that I'm going to add into the spreadsheet is going to be the return on investment. Okay, not mission critical, but very, very interesting data point to add in here, and we can use complete self-calculating fields in order to get this information. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to add in here is the revenue from ads. Okay, that's the first information point. Again, self-calculating. I'll show you exactly what we need to do there. The next section is the cost of ads. Okay, what are we paying? The next section, the net profit from ads. Okay, how much are we actually making from those ads, net profit? Then the return on ads, the return on investment from the ads as a percentage. Okay, this is different to return on ad spend, ROAS, because that is a ratio. Okay, we need to know the percentage and we need to know the ratio. The revenue from ads, that's taking into consideration the customer lifetime value and how many acquisitions you've had. Okay, so that's looking at the true value of the ads. So within this example, if a customer spends £55 in their lifetime and we've acquired 45 acquisitions through ads, that means we've generated the business for £2,475 revenue from the ads that we've generated. Then we look at how many the number of acquisitions times by the cost of acquisitions. Then the net profit from ads, the revenue minus the costs. And then finally the ROI on that based on as a percentage. Okay, so to do a percentage, the formula looks something like this. That means we have a 450% increase from our original ad spend. The cost of ads is 450, and we've generated £2,025 net profit from ads for the business, which is a ROI of 450, which is crazy good. The next and last thing that we need to add into this bit, which I didn't actually add in, is the ROAS. I'm going to add it in here. So the next bit is the ROAS. I'm going to add that in here actually. I normally add it into its own section because it's really, really important. It allows us to see the impact that we're having as advertisers, as online paid media specialists, into the business, directly into the bottom line. So I'm going to add that in here. So we've got return on ad spend. This is a ratio. Okay, this is different to the ROI, which is a percentage. This is the as a ratio. We're going to be looking at. So what we do is here is revenue of the ads divided by cost of the ads. Okay, so the revenue divided by the cost, and that's the ROAS. We have a ROAS of 5.5. Okay, that means for every pound that we spend, we get £5.50 back. Okay, that's looking at the total lifetime value of the customer and everything else. So really, really interesting, guys. The final section that I'm going to be adding here is something which isn't necessary to do specifically with ads, but if you're looking at the marketing machine and the marketing mix in general, what you would do to calculate those. Okay, so I'm going to add those bits in here. A little bit here, guys, is going to amalgamate some of the previous data that we've got. We need one extra data input, but I'm going to add in all the fields that we need to calculate the return on all of the marketing spend. Okay, so this pulls out a ratio of what the current marketing efforts are doing, and then we compare that to the ROAS, which is specifically to do with the paid advertising. Okay, so this has a direct correlation to the ads that we're running, and now we're going to be looking at the MER, which is the marketing ratio across all marketing spend. Okay, so if we consider this, we know exactly the efforts of our marketing and the efforts of our ads as a standalone ratio. So the first thing that we look at is the cost of the ads. Then we look at the cost of the additional marketing. This is something that you'll have to add in. You could add it in at the acquisition cost, but I've added it in here for now, just to make things super confusing. Don't forget, guys, I have included a link to the spreadsheet down below if you want to download it yourself and input these fields yourself, do these calculations yourself. I've made it super, super easy. All you need to do is just download and calculate the spreadsheet. The next is the cost of ads and the marketing spend. After is the revenue from ads. And again, we're pulling all this information. This is for calculating. Okay, the only thing here that we actually need to know from scratch is the cost of additional marketing. Then we've got the revenue from website and other sources. And then we've got the revenue for everything. Okay, this is calculating everything. Then we can do the marketing efficiency ratio. Super cool, guys. Super, super advanced level stuff. So the cost of the ads is £450. So I just need to link up that cell there. In the next field, I've labeled it yellow so that you know that this is the additional cost of all marketing. So say, for example, you've got influencer marketing, you're running email marketing, you're running SMS marketing. All of these costs combined can go in here. So in this example, we've got £1,250 for additional marketing costs. Then we look at the cost of ads and marketing together. So we plus the two figures on top. The revenue from ads is getting pulled up from the top as well, so I'm going to add that in here. The revenue from website and other sources is from the calculation that we did above. Okay, so that's looking at this one here, income for this calculation, £720. Then we're looking at the revenue from everything, which is the above two fields combined, okay? So that's then the total revenue from all marketing, from website, other sources, that's all the revenue. And then we've got all the costs from ads to additional marketing to everything else. That gives us the ratio. Now we just need to calculate what is the ratio between these two numbers, okay? Which is simply revenue divided by cost. So 1.88 is the marketing efficiency ratio. That means across all marketing disciplines within the business, for every pound that we spend, we get £1.88 back, okay? Super interesting, guys. That's obviously very different to the ads, where every pound that we spend on ads, we get £5.50 back, right? So if we can start breaking down each discipline to understand what the return on investment is, that we can say, hey, we're getting a 5.5 ROAS through ads, but we're getting a 1.88 marketing efficiency ratio, right? Which tells me that the other marketing disciplines can also work on gaining a better ROI, and that the ads results actually are propping up quite a lot of the marketing tactics in general, right? We've got a 5.5 for our ads, but we got a 1.88 across all other marketing, right? Which tells me there's a lot of work to do there, right? So guys, that's it. Like I said, I'm going to drop down the link. I'm going to drop the link of this down below so that you can go and add in all this stuff yourself. Okay, all of the information fields that you need to add in are in yellow, and everything else is self-calculating. Okay, super easy for you guys. So you can go out you'll know exactly what you need to do to break even. If your company is in a minus, you'll know exactly what you need to do to spend if you want to achieve a certain amount of profitability. All this stuff is self-calculating, guys. That is it, the magic master spreadsheet. I've given it to you guys. Go and add it for yourself. I'd love to hear what you think. I'd love to hear if this is working for you, and if there are other things that are really important to you. These are the main criteria that I would look for the profitability of ads. So I would love to hear what you think, and hopefully this was useful to you guys. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found that useful. Hopefully it wasn't too complicated or technical. Like I said throughout the video, you can download this spreadsheet in the link below, so you can start adding in these numbers. As I've said many times, I've colored the fields where you need to input your numbers, and then everything else is automatically calculated. So go and grab your spreadsheet in the link below. It's a completely free resource for you to understand how your ads are profitable, what effect they're making to the business, and how they're affecting the bottom line. So super important, guys, super useful. All this stuff completely free. I'm happy to share and for us to learn and grow together. If there's any specific things that you like to work, how you like to calculate these projections, I'm really interested to learn from you. We're here building this community of discovery and learning. Once again, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe so you never miss any more important updates. If you'd like to find out specifically to do with Meta, if your ads are profitable and you want to scale them, click this video up here. I'm Jerry the Ad Wizard, and you can follow me on socials at Jerry Dreadlocks, on LinkedIn at Jerry Griffiths, and on Instagram at Jerry AdWizard. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate all the support. I'm Jerry the Ad Wizard, and wherever you are in the world, I bid you peace, love, a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.